Alright folks, today I want to share my little Galaxy Note 8 nightmare with you. The Nightmare Part 1. Now I bought a Galaxy Note 8 about 6 months ago, and I came home from work one day and I pulled out of my pocket and the rear camera glass had shattered. It was like two distinct holes right where the lenses are. Okay, and I'm always very careful with my phone. I've never dropped one. I even have this OtterBox commuter case on it. And it was a shock to me. I was like, just pulled it out and I'm like, what is this? This is $1,000 phone. It should not be breaking and cracking in my pocket like this. So what I did is I tried to fix it myself. Okay, I went on Amazon and I saw where you can order these glass pieces for like $10, and I tried to replace it myself. So I dug out all the glass shards, and the camera was working fine, by the way. It was just the glass needed replacing. So the thing is, I watched a YouTube video, an instructional YouTube video showing you how to do this, and they were talking about using a heat gun, one of these things, to loosen the adhesive where the glass goes on. And the Nightmare Part 2. I guess I applied a little bit too much heat. Maybe my heat gun's a little powerful than the one they were using in the video, and it ended up messing the camera up. So now the cameras are, both the dual cameras were messed up. They were like real blurry when you try to take a picture. So now I got to replace them. I done messed them up by trying to fix it myself. So then the Nightmare Part 3. I go to the Verizon store where I bought this camera, or this phone from, and I tell them my story. I'm like, look, I need to replace this rear camera, and what can you do for me? So they checked and they saw, well, I didn't have any insurance on the phone, and also, even though the phone was under warranty, the warranty doesn't cover any physical defects. So basically she was telling me I'm SOL, and she couldn't even tell me where to go. I said, well, what am I supposed to do? Where can you give me a number, an address where I can mail this phone off to get it fixed? Or she's like, no, we can't really help you if you don't have insurance. You're sort of on your own. By the way, the insurance, the deductible on this phone was $200. So if I were to get it repaired, even if I had insurance and was paying the monthly fee, whatever it is, I don't know what it is, $5, $10, even if they were to fix it, it would have been at least $200. It might have been more. Okay, so keep that in mind. So just as I was getting ready to leave out the store, she was like, oh, you might want to try batteries plus bulbs, because they fix phones. And I was like, okay. Now, I've never set foot in a batteries plus bulb store in my life. If I need batteries, need light bulbs, I can either go to Lowe's or Walmart or order them on Amazon. But anyway, there is one not too far away from where I live. So I got home and I called them up, and the Nightmare Part 4. I said, look, do y'all replace rear cameras on a Note 8? And they were like, oh, we've never done that before, but yeah, we can do that. We can order the part and do that. So I said, cool. And so she ordered the part and went ahead and set me up for an appointment. I didn't know where they were getting this part from, where they were getting it locally, the camera part, or what. But she set me up with an appointment like 4 days from the day I called, and she said, "Oh, the part will be in by then." I didn't have to pay ahead of time for the part. So I show up there, rush over there after work, get there at my scheduled time, and the part's not in. I'm like, okay, nice. And so she rescheduled it for like 3 days later. She's like, "Oh, the part will definitely be in by then." And so 3 days later, this time I call, I say, "Is the part in yet?" She said, "Oh, no, it's not in yet. Sorry." And then I said, "Well, just why don't you call me when the part's in, and then we'll set up a scheduling date." And that's what happened. A couple more days later, then she did call me. The part was in, set me up with an appointment. I go in, said it'll take about an hour. So I'm thinking, okay, this is going to be no problem, real easy peasy, just drop it off. By the way, they quoted me a price of $100 to fix the phone and replace the camera, which I was like, that's fair enough. I mean, Verizon would have been at least $200. So I drop my phone off. I go away for an hour. I come back. The guy is just coming to the desk, the guy that was fixing my phone. And I say, "Well, how'd it go? Everything go okay?" He goes, "Oh yeah, everything's fine. Went good." And then he cuts the phone on, and then an error message comes up, because he's going to demonstrate that the camera's working now. And he doesn't even check it in the back room where he's working. He waits to get to the front of the counter to check it. And then he shows me, turns the camera on, and an error message comes up right there in front of me as I'm getting ready to pay. And he's like, "Well, hold on a second. Can you come back in about 20 minutes? Let me check something." I say, "Sure." Okay, I go away, come back 20 minutes. He's still doing it, trying to get it working, and is unable to. And finally, he comes back and says he thinks it's a bad part. Okay. So then he's got to take the new camera that he just installed out and put back my old camera. So that's another hour wait. So I got to go away for an hour and come back, pick up my phone with the bad camera in it. So he's like, "Well, we can order another part. It might have just been a bad part." That's what he thought it was. And I was like, "Okay, go ahead, order another part, and I'll reschedule. Call me when it comes in." I wait about a week. I don't hear back from him. I call them. I said, "Is the new part in? The new camera in?" And she said, "Oh, yeah, it's in, yeah. When do you want to make an appointment?" I said, "As soon as possible." So she sets me up the next day. I go over there, and he puts the new camera in, the second part, and once again it gives the same error message. It's not working. So he's like, "I don't know, it must be a problem with our supplier, it must be a quality control issue. I don't know, sorry, but we can't fix your phone." So, but he did give me a card to another repair place locally that repairs phones. The nightmare comes to an end. So I took the card and I went by his store the next day, 10 o'clock, right when he opened. Told him my problem, told him the batteries plus couldn't fix it, and can you fix it? Can you try to fix it? What can you do for me? He said, yeah, we can fix that. And he quoted me a price of only $80. So okay, that's even cheaper. And he happened to have a couple of Galaxy Note 8s on hand in his store to use for spare parts. So he had what's called an OEM part, original equipment manufacturer part from another Note 8 that he could take out of and put in mine. Because see, when Batteries Plus Bulbs orders these parts, they're not the original parts from Samsung. They're like knockoffs, I guess, that are supposed to work and supposed to be very similar, but evidently they don't always work. But so this guy at this new place had the exact camera part in his store. So he said, "Yeah, it'll take about an hour." And so I come back in an hour. Well, actually, I called first, you know, just because I wanted to get the bad news in case he wasn't able to fix it. And he said, yeah, everything gets fixed, no problem. So drive over there, make that 15-minute drive, and the camera is working perfectly. Everything's fine, no problem. So he fixed it in an hour, charged me $80, and I'm good to go. So the moral of this story is that if you got a phone that's messed up, and you take it to one place to get repaired and they're unable to fix it, don't give up. Try another place, maybe try a third place. Eventually you'll find somebody that should be able to fix it. Okay? So my nightmare has come to an end. That was very painful. And I was really starting to think that they weren't going to be able to repair this phone. But just let you know, if you got a Galaxy Note 8, even if you got a nice case on it, put down, if you have phone problems with your phone and the camera breaks or the camera gets a crack in it right here, let me know in the comment section. I'd be interested to hear, because I think it's sort of a manufacturing defect. Because I'm very careful with my phone, very careful, and never dropped a phone in my life, a smartphone, you know. Just super careful, and for me to pull it out and to see that cracked cover, it just was like, how would that just shouldn't be for $1,000 phone, you know. So, but I think it's sort of a manufacturing defect, and I think more people are going to have this problem as time goes on, just like the battery problem with the Note 7 that was catching fire and stuff. You know, it took a while for them to realize that this was a serious issue. And I think that with the Note 8, more and more people are going to have problems with the rear camera getting cracked. That's my hypothesis. We'll see if it comes to fruition. But so anyway, that's my story for today. You know, a very stressful couple of weeks, but finally did get the camera fixed, and I'm good to go.